afternoon to the press and to the viewers. I'll talk about two things, mostly to do with Copperbelt province. I'll talk about the killing of Christine Wunda in the Kankoyo township in Mufira. And I'll also talk about the damage which was caused by the rains in 6 districts on the Copperbelt province. As government and as Minister for Copperbelt province, I want to put it clearly that we are saddened by the killing of Crispin Wunda, a 15-year-old boy who was shot in Kankoyo in Mufira. His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema is on record, and will always be on record, including all of us, condemning the killing of citizens in any circumstance. So I want to say that as government, as Minister for the province, what transpired is very regrettable, and we are saddened by the loss of a young boy who was only 15 years old. That death should have been avoided, and the officers or whoever was involved avoided to use live ammunition. I think live ammunition can only be used where it should be the least thing an officer should think of to use. Let me put it this way. It should be the least thing any officer or anyone would think of using, especially to people who are harmless. So as government, we are also saddened for that loss. We sympathize with the family. Our prayers are with the family and the community of Kankoyo constituency. We regret what transpired, and as Minister for Copperbelt province, I've asked the wings to investigate thoroughly and tell the nation and all of us exactly what transpired. I also want to put it on record that government through ZNS has taken over the expense of the funeral by providing foodstuffs for the funeral, and we are also willing to provide the coffin and other necessary expenses such as transport until our boy will be put to rest. I want to appeal to the community of Mufira and Copperbelt at large that yes, we understand what happened was painful, but I want to appeal for calm as we allow the investigative wings to come up with exactly what transpired, and then the next course of action will be taken. But I also want to say that it is sad for other people, especially the opposition, to take advantage of a funeral of this nature and politicize it. We have seen several opposition officials taking advantage of the funeral of this nature and politicize it, calling President Hakainde names and other people names. This is not correct. I think it's about time opposition leaders came to realize that their role is to give checks and balances which won't border on trying to incite the residents to rise against the government. Of late, there's a tendency, especially coming from the opposition leaders, behaving like hyenas. Because hyenas only want to participate where other animals have managed to kill an animal, and then they'll come up and want to participate. It's always important to be focused and to give checks and balances which will make sense and which will build our country so that we can push the living standards of our people to another level. To be waiting for a sad news, bad news. We have had several good news on the Copper Belt which has happened for the past 2 years. Several good news which we expected other people such as the oppositions who are just waiting for some news which they will use to twist, to paint the image of the government, to paint His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema black. We expected them to acknowledge several good news and several developments which has happened on the Copper Belt. We expect them to talk about them. Unlike waiting for something like this funeral of our beloved boy, Christine Wunda, and politicize it so that they gain political mileage out of the funeral, to try and paint President Hakainde Hichilema and this government black. That is not the way we should do politics. Copper Belt residents are very focused and have always tried their best to work side by side with this government, and they are aware of other good things which this government has done. And when it comes to a situation like the one we have in Mufulira today, they know that the government of His Excellency President Hakainde is also saddened by what has transpired. So whatever propaganda will be used so that opposition leaders can gain mileage out of this funeral, I don't think they will achieve what they want to achieve. It's because Copper Belt residents, Copper Belt citizens, they are focused and they understand and they cannot be cheated. I therefore call upon those who want to use propaganda on this funeral to stop. Stop inciting citizens to rise against the government. Stop waiting for small things where you want to jump like hyenas to start painting President Hakainde Hichilema and this government. Zambians know how much this government has done the past 2 years. Zambians know by now and they understand who Hakainde Hichilema, President Hakainde Hichilema is. They know that he's got a special place in his heart for the people of Zambia. Several things has happened on the Copper Belt, which I've been mentioning every time. The development going on when it comes to road networks, rehabilitation of hospitals, the NAPSA issue, and several others which I've been talking about every now and then. That's the good news we expected the opposition to acknowledge, not to wait for the funeral. I can describe them that they are Western witches. This tantamount to witchcraft. How do you wait for the funeral of a young boy like that and then you want to politicize it? I think the agenda will never succeed. I want to salute the people of Mufulira. I want to salute the people of Copper Belt for remaining focused and working side by side with this government. Continue doing that. In situations like this one, where we've lost our boy, in circumstances which are not very clear, we will stand together. As government, we will stand with the family and we will have nothing to hide. We want transparency, even as they investigate wings, we investigate and tell us what happened. The law should take its course at some point. This government has nothing to hide. Like the killings which we saw in the previous regime where nothing moved. It's not the same as this government. So I want to say that may the soul of our beloved boy, Crispin Wunda, rest in peace. We will stand with the family all the way until we give our boy a befitting send-off. I again want to ask the people of Covabelt, the people of Mufrira, the people of Kankoyo in particular, to remain calm. Do not be misled by those who want to act as now they can act as messianic agents for the people of Zambia. You know, the agenda is to try and bring this government down, especially when there are issues like what transpired in Kankoyo. I also want to talk about what we've experienced as a province with the rain for which happened on the 20th. We have disasters that we call disasters in about 6 districts. For example, in Chingola, 25 houses had their roofs blown off. And there's a clinic called Guy Scott Clinic, the roof was also completely blown off. Lusang Orphanage and some shops had their roofs damaged. In Kalulushi, we have some houses in Sokolo Ward which had their roofs damaged. 20 houses in Lulamba Ward had also their roofs blown off, and 1 school and 2 churches. In Masaiti, we have Kalkoyo Combined School, which also had the roof blown off. In Ikitwe district, in Ganaton Township, 7 houses had their roofs blown off also. In Rwansha, we have 3 houses and UCZ Church, which had their roofs damaged. In Lufwanyama, Nkana Combined School had also almost the entire roof blown off, and some few other places where we had the same problem. I want to also sympathize with the victims of those who had their houses damaged because of the rain which we had on the 20th. And we instructed the district commissioners in these respective districts to be on the ground. And I think they have put up a report, and government through disaster management unit will try our best to stand with the families of those who were affected, including institutions like schools and other buildings which were affected. A clinic like Guy Scott Clinic, I think is a sensitive clinic. We will move at a good speed to try and fix this clinic. So in short, government is standing for all those who are affected. We have a president who is caring. I'm sure you've seen a lot of disasters which we've had on the Covabelt. I can give you an example of the markets which were burnt, both in Ndola and Kitwe. Government came in and had to repair these markets in one way or the other, and also we had to offer support to the people who were affected. So in this situation, we'll do the same, and we will be together until these issues are sorted out. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Minister, for those comments. And just to reiterate that indeed government is deeply concerned. Government grieves with the family of Crispin Kapibunda. The acting president, they send their sincere condolences to the bereaved families. And as the minister has said, this incident must never be treated as a measure upon which our commitment to good governance will be measured. The dark days of extrajudicial killings, the dark days of violence will never be allowed to be back. It's an unfortunate incident, and government is at pains right now. But to the families of Crispin Gunda, indeed, as the minister has said, we will be with you in this difficult time. We will ensure that we lessen your pain. This government is your government, and a life of every citizen is an important life. We will go to the root cause of this unfortunate incident and give the necessary remedies to ensure that it does not happen ever again. So the bereaved families, we are sincerely sorry about this incident, and it will never be allowed to happen again. The second comment really is to, again, assure the Zambian public that for these unfortunate incidences, disasters happening along the length and breadth of the country, government again will be there. Office of the Vice President is ready to ensure that the damage resulting from actually the negative effects of climate change are addressed. So DMMU will forever be there. Distinguished journalists, I also want to tackle an important matter as raised by the Council of Churches in Zambia. I'm sure you are aware that the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops has well raised similar issues. So the government wishes to acknowledge the statement given yesterday by the Council of Churches in Zambia, CCZ, in which a number of issues of national importance pertaining to governance were raised. Government appreciates the statement and further notes that issues raised therein by the CCZ are largely similar to those recently raised by the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops. In this regard, government wishes to reiterate and reaffirm its unwavering commitment to dialogue with all stakeholders, including the Church, on important national matters. To this effect, Zambians may wish to note that government has already begun to actualize the process of dialogue as earlier stated in the last media briefing not too long ago. Government further wishes to thank the Catholic bishops for accepting to dialogue with their government on matters they raised, which are similar to those being raised now by CCZ. It is therefore government's sincere belief that having pronounced itself on the need to dialogue over the issues raised, a platform has been created to this effect. Therefore, going forward, government urges citizens to remain calm and be expectant of the outcome of the dialogue process, as it believes that the dialogue process that has been put in place is sufficient to address all the issues raised. Therefore, let us give dialogue an opportunity without jeopardizing the conducive environment of the dialogue process. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I further wish to reiterate that the New Dawn administration, led by His Excellency the President, Ms. Hakainde Hichilema, is committed to running an open government that is accountable to its citizens. It is for this reason that the President repealed the Information of the President Act in order to allow citizens democratic space to express themselves and participate in the governance of their country. The government of President Hakainde Hichilema is also, for the first time, unprecedented, taking to the National Assembly the Access to Information Bill, which is presently under active consideration by a committee of parliament for possible enactment. The proposed enactment of the Access to Information Bill is also an effort to confront corruption meaningfully by bringing on board active civic participation by all citizens. The New Dawn administration therefore believes that these, among other measures, are being put in place to demonstrate political will and good leadership. So thank you very much. This is an issue I wanted to tackle, and if there are any other issues you would want an update on, myself and my colleague are here.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the information, and the Chief spokesperson who is actually acting that position. Thank you also, Honorable Minister for Copperbelt Province, for the statement. The floor is now open, as the Honorable Minister has indicated, for questions and the points of clarifications. You can come forward, please, and state your full names and your organization.
Good afternoon, Honorable Ministers. My name is Matthew Marazita from OTFM. This goes to the Acting Minister of Information and Media. We know that climate change is here in our country, and yet we've seen that the budgetary allocation towards environmental protection, or basically towards the Ministry of Environment, remains at 0.8. Now, are you not concerned that despite the talk of climate change, we haven't seen any changes in terms of budgetary allocation in your ministry? And then to the Minister of Copperbelt, I just want to get an update if there is any latest in terms of smuggling. How have you, or how are you handling the cases? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other question? Any other question from the media? Maybe at this stage, I may indulge the two honorable ministers to address the questions that have just been given.
Thank you very much, Matthews. I want to say that we are very serious when it comes to the issue of smuggling. We have put up teams of our men in uniform in each district to fight this issue of smuggling. As you may know, last year we had a problem with shortage of mealie meal on the Copperbelt and other places in the country, because most of the mealie meal was taken across into our neighboring countries. So we are very, very strict this time around. I'm sure you saw 2 days ago, we recovered 22,000 bags of mealie meal in Chilawombo, which was found hidden just near the border of Kasumbalesa in Chilawombo. And this is how far smugglers have gone. They keep on changing their style of doing this illegal business. But I want to tell you that we are equal to the task, because we have put task force teams in all the districts, especially the districts which are in the border areas like Chilawombo, which borders the Congo at Kasumbalesa, in Frila where there's the Mukambo border, as well as Sakanya, and in Indolo. So there are patrols going on every night, and I think every day we are recovering and impounding vehicles, the vessels, and the mealie meal which most of these smugglers are using. So right now, as I'm talking to you, I think we have in excess of 30,000 bags of mealie meal, which we have impounded. Was impounded maybe the past 7 days, and I think the patrols are there day and night, and I think we will try our best to fight this illegal activity so that our people can have mealie meal available on the market. And I'm sure you know that if we have a lot of mealie meal which will be crossing into our neighboring countries, to result into having shortages, and that will cause a chain reaction of having exorbitant prices of mealie meal. So with the coming in of ZNS, where they are supplying mealie meal which is affordable to our people, we want to make sure that this mealie meal does not go into other countries. But I also want to tell you that we are smuggled at Abomfwa. They are there trying to change their goalposts every time. They are changing the routes. They are changing the way they are packaging the same milimi. For example, the milimi which was recovered in Chirabombo, the 22,000 bags, they found a small machine there where they were changing the packaging of milimi. Because I've come to learn that there's certain brand of milimi which they like in other countries. So they would get this brand and then repack it into that using the bags for another brand. So they recovered machine one which was, I don't know if they were using to label the bags according to the brand of the milimi which is sellable in other countries. And they also found a machine which they were using to sew the bags. So they keep on changing goalposts, and I think I'll be talking to my colleague, the Minister of Home Affairs, to try and see if we can put checkpoints in some places where we think we have a problem with the smuggling and it's not coming down. So in short, we are determined to fight smuggling. We know we cannot finish it completely. It's been there for years. It was there in UNIP, it was there in MMD, it was there in PF, but we want to fight it to the levels where we will be having minimum available on the market in our province and other places. Thank you.
Well, the second part of the question, I think Matthews, is a very, very big question, and I'd like to tackle it this way, maybe beginning by saying, you know, the mandate of the ministry basically is to mainstream green growth pathways in all the other ministries. Climate change basically and in a large way affects energy security, you know, water security and food security. So supporting projects in the relevant ministries to ensure there is the adaptive capacity of the countries enhanced is one of the areas we are basically concentrating on. So in the energy ministry, you know, there's energy transition now from low, high carbon to low carbon to renewables now in our country. Yes, solar and wind. But for the issues of water security, it's obviously ensuring that issues of land degradation, issues of deforestation is tackled. For food security, I'm sure you've seen that we put a very high premium as government to ensure that the country is secure. And this is because normally, you've seen that the intensity as well as frequency on one side of flooding is increasing, on one side the droughts as well. So this is a nexus basically which, as a ministry, we need to ensure it's managed. When you look on the other side as well, the other pillar for the green economy is social inclusivity, not leaving anybody behind. That's why you've seen that government has come up with huge social protection measures. Social security is being supported on a large scale by government. Obviously, on the budgetary allocation, we are also obviously not happy with the small budget to ourselves because we believe that with a bigger budget, legalities in the timber industry, deforestation, and all these pollution control, ZIMA, you know, with our aim to increase production to 3 million tons per year in the next decade, obviously levels of pollution can only increase. So we need more money for us to tackle these challenges. The good news is that I think we're on the right track. Just this year's budget has been increased by 5%. So we've seen a movement in positive. And we've also been engaging the Minister of Finance to ensure that more resources are allocated to the ministry. And we have hope that there will be, because we have made progress on restructuring our debt. We believe that those interest rates will be paying. Once we stop paying them, there will be more resources for environmental protection. We are not sitting by just to wait for the money. We are also doing other things. For example, huge advocacy and communication to ensure that we carry the people along. Obviously, free education to ensure that our people are educated in these issues. of ensuring efficiency in natural resource management. There's a lot happening other than just money directly coming to the ministry. But I agree with you, the money is not enough in the ministry, allocated to the ministry, and we made the case. So I hope for that more budgetary allocation will be made. But distinguished ladies and gentlemen, maybe the last point as well, we may not have asked about it, it's about Impika. There's a bit of fracas in Impika right now in the gold mines. We want to appeal to our people. We want to appeal to our people that this government is a government of laws, the rule of law will be respected, that whatever is happening in the mining sector, okay, there are a lot of illegalities there. We're trying to ensure that the mining sector is managed in a better manner. So we appeal to our people to give us a chance to put in the relevant pieces of legislation in place, to put in the relevant mechanisms, good mechanisms to ensure that our people benefit. The Minister of Mines right now is working hard to ensure that the natural resource benefits local people in those areas. So the licenses obviously will be skewed, giving license will be skewed towards our local people there. And obviously, some of our local people may not have the necessary resources to ensure that they extract these minerals, obviously process these minerals. We need investors on board. So those investors also must work closely with our people. On the small scale mining, the Minister of Mines has and will continue giving our people these mining licenses. So please be patient with us. We mean well. We will ensure that our small and medium scale businessmen benefit directly from the natural resource they are endowed with in their various localities. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me just answer the question from Mr. Nyoni, which came through the social media. He's asking what's the time frame for given to those investigating the shooting incident in Frere. I want to assure the nation and Mr. Nyoni that we want these investigations to be done as quickly as possible. It shouldn't be like the way we used to behave before. No. It should be done as quickly as possible. We will make a follow-up until the truth is known. So it will be done as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ministers, for those reactions to the questions. Could there be any other question? I see none. It would appear the members of the press and the ministers have exhausted their questions at this particular
We'll
moment.
satisfy them, all of them.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Ministers, allow me at this juncture just to ask the Director of Planning and Information in the Ministry to just thank the Honorable Ministers for their statements.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for availing your time to update the nation on some of the topical issues. Equally, I want to thank the Honorable Minister from the River Belt for also updating us on the recent development on the River Belt. The Ministry stands ready to avail this platform to government in order to inform the citizens on the developments taking place in the country. And once again, thank you, sir.
And that is where we wrap up the ministerial